Hi everybody, here I am back with the short approaches for the SIMCAT 10. As I said, you can stop the recording and read the questions. For this question, A plus B is the question. What is A plus B? B is almost given to you in a very short manner. The strawberry cake is marked up by 150%. So if the cost of the strawberry cake is 100 rupees, the markup price would be 250. Now we are given a 40% discount. 40% of 250 is 100 rupees. 100 rupees discount is given, which means it is sold at a price of 150 rupees. This gives us a profit percent of 50%. So we have B is equal to 50. This part was almost given to us almost directly. Now the first part A. Let's understand. There is a profit of A%. If he sells the same cake at twice that selling price, if the selling price is doubled, what would happen to the profit? The profit becomes 6 times. Indirectly, we are supposed to calculate the profit percent out of these two pieces of information. Right? So let's try to understand. Let's say on the number line 0 and we have a selling price SP. We are talking about a profit, which means the cost price has to be less than the selling price. And this gap is the profit. Now, if I sell at 6 times, double of the selling price, twice the SP, the profit becomes 6p, which tells me that this is 5p. So I have an equation. See, I'm not using any basic equations. You don't need to draw all this if you have understood this. And this is only for your understanding. So now I can say this gap of P, SP, 1 SP is equal to 5p. So if I assume my SP to be 100 rupees, the profit becomes 20 rupees, which means the cost is 80 rupees. And the profit percent, 20 upon 80, 1 by 4, 25%. So we have A is equal to 25. A is 25, B is 50, and the required answer to be entered A plus B is 75. A plus B is 75. A wonderful question here. All right, understand the question. Pause here if you want to. So let's begin with the first test. The minimum marks that Ravina can score in the first test is 1. Now the second test. The average, the second test, see, all the test marks have to be progressively increasing. They have to be increasing. Second thing, the marks has to be an integer and the average also has to be an integer. So if I talk about 2 tests, the summation of the 2 marks should be divisible by 2. I want a total of the first and second to be divisible by 2. I can't think of 1. The second test could have had 1 mark. Then 1 plus 1, 2, and the average will continue to be 2. But then every test would simply be 1, 1, 1, 1. And that's what they have denied by saying that it's a progressively increasing. Her score in each test was higher than that in the immediately preceding test. It has to be a higher and a higher and a higher and a higher score. So I need a number greater than 1 to make it a multiple of 2, which means I should have 3. 1 plus 3 becomes 4. And 4 is divisible by 2, so the average becomes 2. Okay, let's start with the third test then. In the third test, the numbers should become a multiple of 3. I've already got a cumulative score of 4, and I need to add a number greater than 3 to make it a multiple of 3. 4 plus 3 is 7, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 4 plus 5 gives me a total of 9. 9 can be divided by 3 and the average becomes 3. Simply understand the average of the first test is 1, the average of the 2 tests is 2, the average of the 3 tests is 3. So there also we have a pattern. So average of the fourth test, after the fourth test, the average should be 4. Let's try the fourth test. Now, the average should be again a multiple natural number, which means the cumulative total of the 4 tests should be a multiple of 4. And I'm supposed to add a number greater than 5. Greater than 5. So even if I add 6, 9 plus 6 gives me 15. I need a multiple of 4. So 9 plus 7 gives me 16. Now this clearly, and of course the average turns out to be 4. The clearly pattern is the first test is 1, second test is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, odd numbers. Now see, you have to remember things. You have to remember things. The summation of the first and odd numbers is always n square. The cumulative total will always be n square, which is actually visible here also. First test cumulative total is 1. Second test cumulative total is 2. 4, which is 2 square. 9, which is 3 square. 14, 16, which is 4 square. So it is a very simple thing. All the cumulative scores will always be a perfect square. She has taken 10 squares tests. So all the 10 cumulative scores will be a perfect square. All you need to do is enter 10 as your answer. Your answer is 10. The question is, if the sum of the scores across all the 10 tests were minimum possible, then the number of times her cumulative score becomes a perfect square. All the 10 times. So the answer to be entered is 10. A question on progressions. Remember, the middle term is always the average term in a progression, if the number of terms is odd. Now here we have the first term 1. The total sequence is 1 to 3635. So the first and the last, if I say the average of the entire sequence of the AP is A, the first plus last would be 2A. This is a total of 2A. And 1 plus last is 3635. 1 plus 3635 actually gives me 3637. So whenever the total of two terms is 3637, their total will become 2A. Luckily, we have the same thing here. 6, 3630. Total becomes 3636. Sorry, not 37, but 36 here. 3636. So this total is also 2A. Second and second last in this bracket would also give a total of 2A. So all we are now to decide is find out how many terms are there in this sequence. In the middle part, how many terms are there in the middle part? This is what we need to calculate. How many terms? Luckily, you can see that it's a sequence 6 into 1, 6, 6 into 2, 12, 6 into 3, 18. So divide this number by 6 and you get the number of terms there. 3630 divided by 6 is 605. So these are 605 terms. Their average is A. So their total will be 605A. And we have the first and last, the first term and the last term, again total as 2A. So the total of all of these will simply be 607A. And that is given to us as 5463. Clearly, this shows us that A is 9. The average of the entire sequence is 9. So summation of the entire sequence will simply be 3635 into 9. 9 into 5 is 45. We can have a carry forward 4. 9, 3, 27, 24, 27 and 4 is 31. And this is where we stop. There is only one option which ends with a 15. The correct answer is option B, 32715. We don't even need to multiply anything further. We have our answer from the last two digits. So we don't need to multiply further. The correct answer is option B. A wonderful situation here. A beautiful thing here. Understand the concepts here. Suppose let's say about A and B first. A and B. Suppose A is randomly a person who is, say, 15 years old and B is 12 years old. What happens to A what happens to B when A is also 12 years old? When A was 12 years old, 15 minus 3, so 12 minus 3, 9. In such situation, this total and this total will always remain the same. The totals will always remain the same and these two numbers will remain the same. A wonderful situation here. So now what are we told? Girish, Harish. When Girish was as old as Harish is now, that means in the past, that means Girish is older. The ratio of Harish's age to Girish's age is 2:3. They have played a trick. They have not given Girish Harish, they have given Harish Girish. 3:2. So in the past, at that time, the ratio of the ages of Girish and Harish were 3:2. So let's take it as 3x, 2x. In the past, Girish is as old as Harish is now. This is the past. So what is the present? At present, Harish must be 3x. So this total is 6x. So this total is also 6x, which gives us Girish is 4x. So present ages of Girish and Harish are 4x, 3x. So what happens after 12 years? Girish becomes 4x plus 12. Harish will become 3x plus 12. And their ratio of their ages is 5:4. Girish is the elder one. Remember, 4:5 is mentioned, but if you use 4:5, you'll get x as a negative value. So let's get Girish as 5, Harish as 4. So we have 16x on the left hand side, 15x on the right hand side. So we simply write x. 48 on the left hand side, 60 on the right hand side. So we simply write 60. 12. 60 minus 48, 12. X is 12. So the present age of Girish is simply 4 into 12, 48. That's the answer to be answered. 48. A very good question here. The use of alternate segment theorem. This angle is given to us directly as 60. Join OC. Now the angle between the chord and the tangent given to us is 30. Here we have angle OAC is 60 degrees and twice of angle CBQ is 60. So CBQ is 30. The given angle between the chord and the tangent is 30 degrees. Remember the alternate segment theorem? The angle between the chord and the tangent is the same as the angle subtended by the chord in the alternate segment. So the inscribed angle of the chord AB would be 30 degrees. So the central angle of the chord would be 60 degrees. This is 60, this is 60, so this is also 60, this is also 60. Luckily, you can see that all of these angles are 60, so these are two equilateral triangles. These are equilateral triangles. So if the radius is taken as R, all of the sides will be R. And the required perimeter is 4R. So all we are supposed to do now is find out 4R. This total angle becomes 120 degrees, 1/3 of the circle. So the shaded portion is 2/3 of the circle. 2/3. And that area is given to us as 924. The shaded part, 2/3 of the circle is 924. So the circle area is 924 into 3/2. And we know the area of the circle is pi r square. Pi is to be taken as 22/7. Right? So start cancellations. 22 is 2 into 11. You can directly cancel out at 22 also, but let's do it in steps. So first cancelling out at 11 gives you 84. Then cancel out a 2 here, that gives you 42. Then cancel out a 2 here, that gives you 21. Bring the 7 from this side, right hand side to left hand side, this becomes 21. R square is 21 into 21, so R is 21. And the required answer 4R will become 4 into 21, 84. The perimeter of the given quadrilateral, which actually is a rhombus, the perimeter of that quadrilateral will become 84. I've been telling you time and time again, remember the powers, remember the squares, remember the reciprocals of fractions, remember the percentage of fractions, remember things. Remember. You are told to remember the power of 3 raised to 8. 3 raised to 8 is 6561. Right? Now here you are told 3 raised to a minus some power of 2 is 3299, which means we are looking for 3 raised to a to be greater than 3299. So obviously, as I said, the next power of 3 that comes to our mind, this is a, not 9. A is 9, that I know, but that's for later time. 3 raised to a should be greater than 3299, which brings us, the first thing to the mind is a might be 8. Okay, 3 raised to 8 is 6561. So in that case, what will be the value of 2 raised to b? 2 raised to b will be 6561 minus 3299. 11 minus 9 gives us a 2. 15 minus 9 gives us a 6. 4 minus 2 gives us a 2 and 3. Unluckily, this is not a power of 2. 3262 is not a power of 2. So b cannot be an integer here. Okay, so this brings us to the next power of 8. Next power of 3. We do not remember, we have not asked you to remember 3 raised to 8, 9. But if you had remembered 3 raised to 8, simply multiply 3 raised to 8 by 3 and you will get 3 raised to 9. 3 into 1, 3. 3, 6, 18, carry 1. 3, 5, 15 and 1, 16, carry 1. 3, 6, 18 and 1, 19. From this, subtract 3 to 99. And let's see if this now turns out to be a power of 2. 13 minus 9 is 4. 17 minus 9 is 8. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 19 minus 3 is 16. And yes, this is a power of 2. This is 2 raised to 14. That means A is equal to 9 and B is equal to 14. We don't need to verify this. You can verify if you want to. But 9 plus 14, you are asked 9 plus 14. That gives us 23 as the answer. The correct answer to be entered is 23. A good looking question here. A 50-liter container initially holds 10 liters of pure. See, the container is not full. It's not full. There is pure lemon barley juice syrup. Let's just write LB. Lemon barley, we have 10 liters. 30 liters of water. So now we are adding water to this. We have added 30 liters, so the total becomes 40 liters. After 15% of this mixture is sold, so it means we are selling away 15%. When we sell 15%, we are selling individually also 15%. 15% of 10 and 15% of 30. We cannot be selective. We cannot somehow separate more water on one side and less juice on another side. Syrup on another side. No, it will all be equal proportion. So 10% of 10 is 1. So 15% of 10 is 1.5. 1.5 liters of lemon barley syrup is sold, which brings us down to 8.5 liters of this. And 3 times 1.5, we know it is 3 times 10 times 3 times 10 was 30. Otherwise, you can calculate 15% of 30, which is 4.5. 4.5 liters of water is also sold, which gives us 25.5 liters of water. And obviously, when you sell 6 liters, the total becomes 34. Now comes another addition. After this is sold, 1/17th, 1/17th of the remaining liquid is added, and that is pure lemon barley syrup. We are adding 1/7 equivalent, something equivalent to 1/17th of the total, which is 2 liters. 2 liters of lemon barley syrup is added. So now we are left with 10.5 liters of lemon barley. Finally, water is added to fill the container. The container is filled to the full, which means 50 liters. I don't need to calculate how much water am I adding. There is no need to calculate that. 50 liters is the total, out of which 10.5 liters is lemon barley syrup. Simply subtract 10.5 from 50. 50 minus 10 would be 40. So 50 minus 10.5 is 39.5 liters of water. We now have 39.5 liters of water. The correct answer is option B. 39.5. Okay, a good question on algebra. Read the question again if you want to. We will rewrite the numerator. We'll do plus x minus x in the numerator because we have a plus x here. So I'll rewrite the numerator as x square plus x plus 1 minus 2x and whole upon x square plus x plus 1. So we'll separate them out also directly in a single step. This gives us 1 minus. Let's take the x from the numerator to the denominator. So we have minus 2 upon x square by x plus x by x plus 1 by x. And let's write this x by x as plus 1 here. So this gives us 1 minus 2 upon x plus 1 upon x. I'm putting that in a bracket purposefully, plus 1. Now we need the range. The range of x plus 1 upon x is 2 to infinity. 2 to infinity. If we take x as a positive value. Otherwise, we take it as minus 2 to minus infinity. So let's understand 2 to infinity for a moment. So if I take x, this value here as 2, the denominator becomes 2 plus 1, 3. And I have 1 minus 2 by 3. Gives me 1 by 3. I don't know whether this is the upper limit or lower limit. I know, but I'll still say that I don't know. I don't know whether this is the upper limit or lower limit for a moment. So let's take now the other value as infinity. We'll take this bracket as infinity. So when it is infinity, x plus 1 upon x is also infinity. Infinity plus 1 is infinity. So we have 1 minus 2 upon infinity, which is 1 minus 0, which is 1. So when we take x as a positive value, the resultant is 1 by 3 to 1. The range of the resultant will be 1 by 3. 1 by 3 was the lower limit and 1 is the upper limit. 2 being permitted, 1 by 3 being permitted, but infinity is always an open limit. So our result can be within this limit. Now when we take x as a negative value, the denominator also becomes negative, and 1 minus 2 upon negative gives us a positive value, which will be beyond 1. Which will be beyond 1. So we don't need to worry right now for that. The ultimate range will be, possible range will be 1 by 3 till infinity. 1 by 3, 1 by 4 is not possible. Question says, which of the following cannot be? Remember, it's cannot be. So 1 by 4 is not possible. It's less than 1 by 3. You can even convert to percentage. 1 by 3 is 33.333%. 1 by 4 is 25%. 1 by 7 is 14.28%. 2 by 7 is 28%. So this is also less than 33.333%. 3 by 10 is 30%. This is also less. So which of the following cannot be? All of these. All of these cannot be. So the correct answer is option D, all of these. Okay, a geometry question. ABCD is a parallelogram where the length of AB is more than that of BC. Okay, let's try to draw any random parallelogram. We'll only ensure that the length of the parallelogram is more. We will make it a little more, just to ensure that the question conditions are satisfied. So we have a parallelogram here. Let's call it ABCD. Now P is a point on this line here. P point is somewhere on AB, and similarly Q is some point on the line CD. And we have a diagonal BD. Now we need to bisect the diagonal perpendicularly. Bisect. So we'll drop a perpendicular from here. So this is a right angle. This is what the figure might look like. Now the numbers. Find the area. We need to find the area. Area of a parallelogram is base into height. Okay, so what is given? OP is equal to 5. OP is equal to 5. This is the point O. AP is also equal to 5. Very good. Half of BP is 5. So BP is 10. So the base becomes 5 plus 10, 15. Very good. All we need now is the height. I have been telling you many times, remember things. Right angle triangles. Remember, OPB is a right angle. This is a right angle triangle. So what happens in a right angle triangle? When you drop a perpendicular to the hypotenuse, what happens? There are four very important equations. If I say this is H, then we remember one of the equations that H is equal to AB by C. AB by C. Now, OP is 5. The base is 10. By Pythagoras also we can use it, or by 30. This happens to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. This happens to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So this is 5 root 3. Right? We can calculate the height. Now this height, the height of just this triangle would have been AB by C. So it is 5 into 5 root 3 by 10. But we need 2H for the total height of the parallelogram. Total height of the parallelogram will need to be 2H. So we'll simply multiply this by 2 and a 10 cancels out. So the 2H, the height of the parallelogram, becomes 5 root 3. And the area of the parallelogram is 75 root 3. The correct answer is option C, 75 root 3. Okay. So we need now the fraction. We have to join PQ. So we have a triangle APQ. We need the area of this triangle APQ as a fraction of the percentage of the area of the rectangle. Okay, what's the data? This triangle ABP, the triangle ABP is 1 by 6th of the rectangle. 1 by 6th of the rectangle. So if I had actually drawn a line here vertically, I would have this area, this triangle here also 1 by 6th. So this rectangle would have become 2 by 6th or 1/3. This rectangle would have become 1/3. So when a rectangle is 1/3, we can say the base is also in the ratio 1 is 1/3. So if this is 1, the total would be 3 and this would be 2. If BP is 1, PC would be 2. The total would be 3. Similarly, what about the triangle ADQ? This triangle here. That area is 1/3 of the total. So again, I can draw this, then it would become 2/3. So this base is 2/3 of the total. So if I take this as 2, this is 1. And that gives me my answer quickly. Now, what is the area? This height has become 3. It actually becomes a square with 3 by 3. We don't need the actual dimensions, but it becomes a square. That is for sure. So the area of this triangle here would become 1 into 3 by 2, 1.5. The area of the lower triangle here, PCQ, will be 1 into 2 by 2, 1. And this triangle, upper triangle here, the area would be 3 into 2 by 2, which is 3. The area of the whole square, ABCD will become 3 into 3, 9. And the areas of the three triangles put together is 3 plus 1, 4, and 4 plus 1.5, 5.5. So the remaining area for the central triangle left is 9 minus 5.5, which is 3.5. So the fraction required is 3.5 by 9. And to convert it into percentage, multiply by 100. So we have 350 divided by 9. Start dividing. 9, 3, 27. And we have an 8 as a remainder. 80, 9, 8, 72. And the final remainder here is 8 by 9. So the correct answer is option A. Option A is the right answer. 38, 8 by 9 percentage. Stream downstream, both and streams. The point A is up and the point B is downwards. the question talks a lot about, some part about boat 2. Data is given, but the question part of the question has nothing to do with the boat 2. We can focus only on the boat 1 and 3. That's what is the question part. Right? The river flows from A to B, it is mentioned. So A is upstream, B is downstream. The points P and Q are at the distance of P, Q, and B are at a distance of 10, 20, 30. So ideally, I can say this is 10 kilometers, this is 10 kilometers, this is 10 kilometers. 10, 20, 30. Progressive is actual distance from A to P, A to Q, A to B. So it's 10, 10, 10. The question also mentions that the speeds of both B and A are equal. A wonderful thing. The speeds of both A and B are equal. So whether it is A moving upward, downward, B moving upward, downward, doesn't matter. Let the speed of the river be something. Okay. Now, where do the boats 1 and 3 meet? Boat 1 and 2 leave, 2 forget 2. Boat 1 leaves at the same time B simultaneously. Towards B simultaneously, boat B leaves. Boat 3 also leaves B. So boat 1 and boat 3 are leaving simultaneously. Boat 3 meets boat 1 at Q. This is the point Q. So this is where the boats meet. A moves downwards by 20 kilometers. Boat 1 moves downward by 20 kilometers. Boat 3 moves upward by 10 kilometers, and they have met. The distances traveled are in the ratio 2:1. 10, 20, 10. This is 20 kilometers. This is 10 kilometers. So 2:1. Let's write it as 4:2. And you'll see why. Now, how do I get the speeds of the boat and the stream from this ratio? Simply 4 plus 2 by 2, 6 by 2 is 3. The average of these two numbers is 3. This is the speed of the boat. And speed of the river will be either 4 minus 3 or 3 minus 2, whichever you do. So the speed of the river is 1. Speed of river. So speed of the boat is 3 and the speed of river is 1. We don't need that 30 minutes. We can take any other ratio is 3:1, but we can take that as the point because we are not concerned now with any timings according to the question. So now what does the question say? If the speed of the river is doubled, okay. So now the speed of the boats would continue to be 3 and the speed of the river would now become 2. Instead of 3:1, they would be in the ratio 3:2. At what point will boat 3 cross boat 1? So the upstream speed of the river of the boat 3 now becomes 3 minus 2, 1. And the downstream speed of river boat 1 from A becomes 3 plus 2, 5. Their speeds will be in the ratio 1:5. So the distances covered will also be in the ratio 1:5. So we can say 1/6, 5/6. 1/6 of the total 30 kilometers is 5 kilometers. So boat B will simply travel 5 kilometers here. And this is where they would be. Let's just call it a point T. T we need is 5 kilometers is exactly between B and Q. At the midpoint of Q and B. At the midpoint of QB. The correct answer is option 3. Option 3 is the right answer. Midpoint of Q and B. 30 minutes also can be avoided. Boat 2 also can be avoided. There might be questions where there will be such superfluous data. People might continue trying to calculate. You have to understand that this data is superfluous, not needed. Okay, the last part, and I do a wonderful thing about this. This inequality satisfies all the values of x in the range -1 to 1. X belongs to this range. So the range of x, I can take any value of x in the range -1 to 1, close limit. What is the value of A? The value of A lies in what intervals? So let's try to simply put, oh, what happened? Just a moment. I will do this sharing again. Okay, we'll resume the slide. So here, we'll put x is equal to -1 in the given equation. So -1 square, x square minus 1 square is again 1. 1 minus a into -1 minus a square into -1 plus 8a is less than 0. Minus, minus, plus, minus, minus, plus. And what do we have? A, 8a, 9a. A square plus 9a. Oh, this is an a, not an a square. This is not 9. It's simply an a. A square plus 9a plus 1 is less than 0. Something wonderful here. So a value must lie between the roots of the equation which were 0. Suppose we put this equation as 0. We will have two roots. A has to lie between those two roots. So let's find the roots of this equation by using delta. Delta will be b square minus 4ac. 9 square 81. 81 minus 4, 77. And we see that yes, we do have a 77 here in a lot of options. So a in this range will be between the two roots will be a will be equal to -9 plus root 77 by 2. And the second root will be -9 minus root 77 by 2. Now this equation, this looks like a positive value, but this is also a very small negative value. Root of 77 will be very close to 8.6, 8.7, 8.8. I mean, it's very close to 8.8. 88 square is 7744. So it is -9 plus 8.8 by 2. It's very close to 0.1. The result is, sorry, minus 0.1, minus 0.1. So if I plot these on the number line, what do I have? I have a value 0. Very close to 0, I have a value -9 plus root 77 by 2. And I have another number -9 minus root 77 by 2. And the value of a must lie in this range. It cannot go outside this range. It has to lie in this range. It has to lie in this range. It has to lie in this range. That's your answer. That's it. That's the shortcut. That's the logical way out. Now compare the options. You can actually use x as +1, get another inequality in a, get the two possible values of a. I mean, get the range for a, which will be another way, because here you're going to have greater than 0. So now where do we do? Now imagine, what value is this? Your answer has to lie within this range. Your first option says the lower limit is met in the first option. The lower limit is met. But it goes to an upper limit, which is a very big positive number. 7 plus root 53 by 2, which is very close to 7 point something. Somewhere here, which is not permitted. We don't want this value. Similarly, that means even option 2 is wrong. Option 2 goes from the upper limit towards 7. That also is option is wrong. So these two options are absolutely ruled out. I can rule out options 1 and option 2. I am sorry for scribbling, but yes, that's how I'll cancel out options for you. Now I'm left between options 1 or options 2 and 4. What do I select? What does this look like? What does the situation look like? We know that we cannot go beyond this range. Now, what is the value of 7 minus root 53 by 2? We don't know the exact value right now. Of course, it's a negative value, that is for sure. 7 minus root 53 will be greater than 7. It's a negative value. Now, that negative value could have been either here or here. If the negative value were here, you can't go to that negative value. You can't. It is beyond this range. Then, of course, the answer would have been the given range itself. Minus 9 plus minus root 77 by 2 till minus 9 plus root 77 by 2. Then this entire range will be the valid range, which is not there in the options. That means this value 7 minus root 53 must lie somewhere here, a little less than the upper limit of 9 minus 9 plus root 77 by 2. It must lie somewhere around here. I'm not drawn to scale. That means your answer has to be this range. Lower limit till the given number, which is in option 4. Not the upper limit to that number. Then we are actually moving out of the range. Option 2 is actually moving out of the range of the first part. When we solved x is equal to minus 1, we got between these two numbers. Option 2 is also actually moving very out. We should have eliminated option 2 even at the very first stage. So the only option left is option 4 without calculating the other range for A. The correct answer to be answered is option 4. So that's it for today. Work hard and stay safe again. Work hard. Remember all the things that you are told to remember. Just remember there is no way out. Right? So good day here.